Success on the battlefields of the future depends not so much on giant war machines that deliver chaos and destruction, but on stealthy and deadly drones that can silently enter enemy airspace and effectively neutralize hostiles. One such device is America's Switchblade drone, which we will be discussing in this video. Before you learn about the drone in today's spotlight, you should know which family of weaponized setups it belongs to. Loitering munitions, also known as kamikaze drones, are a type of unmanned aerial vehicle with an integrated warhead capable of remaining in standby mode in the air for a good while in the target area and then strike in an instant upon receiving the appropriate command from the operator. It can also perform other missions sent in the form of an algorithm. These devices combine the advantages of a UAV on the battlefield and the warhead of an aerial bomb to a perfect degree. And although the idea of using such drones dates back to the 1980s when the Israeli Delilah and the not-so-successful US AGM-136 Tacit Rainbow program were introduced, the Switchblade did not appear on the scene until 2011. This small suicide was created by AeroVironment at the request of the U.S. Air Force Special Operations Command, and its primary task was to help U.S. troops eliminate enemy ambushes in Afghanistan. Despite its high efficiency, such as air support cost the U.S. Air Force a lot of time, money, and there were still a lot of other things that could pose a threat to the destruction of residential areas. Portable UAVs like the RQ-11 Raven and RQ-20 Puma were excellent at detecting threats, but were toothless due to their lack of weapons. The Switchblade, however, plugged this leak perfectly, being a small drone that could fit into an Alice or Mole system, relatively inexpensive and most importantly, deadly due to its sensors that instantly detect enemy fighters and the explosive warhead that allowed strikes from above. This is especially useful when the enemy is set up in shelter. Initially, a single version of the kamikaze drone was presented, and when its larger modification appeared in 2020, the name of the first was changed to Switchblade 300. As for the updated modification, it was dubbed Switchblade 600. The principle behind their operation is extremely simple. After being ejected from the launch tube, the drone rapidly spreads its wings, similar to how a Switchblade knife opens. This, in fact, is the reason for the choice of name. Both versions can be transported by a single person, but while the former fits in a backpack at just 1.6 feet long and weighs 6 pounds along with the carrying case and launcher, the Switchblade 600 weighs 10 times more at around 55 pounds and is 4.25 feet long. This is unlikely to be placed in even a hiking backpack. The small dimensions of the Switchblade 300 significantly affected the drone's level of autonomy, and although it is unsuitable for reconnaissance, the drone does an excellent job of hitting targets and providing air support for infantry pinned down by enemy fire. It can be controlled at a distance of up to 6.2 miles with an operating time of up to 10 minutes, while its bigger brother, the 600, can cover up to 25 miles in 20 minutes and then circle over the enemy area for another 20 minutes, thus its total range is about 50 miles. The Switchblade family uses a color camera and GPS to identify, track, and engage targets, and can also be programmed for a collision course. The Switchblade 300 warhead has an explosive charge equivalent to a 40mm grenade and is capable of hitting light armored vehicles and enemy infantry, but the fangs of the Switchblade 600 are much sharper. It carries a javelin-based ATGM warhead used to neutralize a vast array of enemy armor, and with a speed of 115 miles per hour, the warhead has an even deadlier effect. Due to the fact that the Switchblade is driven by an electric motor with a fairly compact size, it is extremely difficult to detect, let alone actually intercept. This allows it to quickly approach the target. Simplifying the kamikaze's operation, the Switchblade 300 Ground Control Station, or GSC, is identical to those used by other AeroVironment's UAVs, including the Wasp models, as well as the previously mentioned Raven and Puma. This reveals a potential avenue for bringing these drones together. For example, you can first conduct reconnaissance of an area with a more autonomous drone, and then strike the detected enemies at lightning speed using the Switchblade forces via the very same controller. Created as a touchscreen tablet, the Switchblade control system assists in controlling the device both autonomously and manually, allowing the operator to swap strike targets or even withdraw the kamikaze from the current mission. At the same time, if the drone went into an attacking dive, the operator has only 4 seconds to change targets, thus requiring maximum concentration and instant reflexes on his part. In order to neutralize the effect of a blow or vice versa to enhance it, the Switchblade warhead can be detonated while still in the air. It was designed on the principle of controlled firepower to reduce collateral damage from a directed blast and has the effect of a shotgun blast, only pointing forward rather than 360 degrees, firing pellets in the direction the missile is moving. Drone control is securely protected with encrypted data links and an anti-spoofing GPS module with signal kill function. Meanwhile, an optional pocket-sized digital data link or DDL module provides the ability to conduct combat informations at a distance of more than 56 miles. Switchblade drones are the sort of black sheep of the UAV world, not really fitting into established conventional military doctrines. After all, these are not armed reconnaissance vehicles sent by platoon commanders to reconnoiter the area and destroy the enemy, and not ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance platforms either, since Switchblade cameras only see targets rather than conducting reconnaissance. However, at the same time, compact kamikazes can fully meet the requirements laid out by small platoons that lack high-level reconnaissance and communications equipment needed to launch missiles from their positions outside the visible range. An additional trick held by the Switchblade was the software written by specialists from the SRC research company to effectively combine the work done by these drones with other sensors in order to intercept hostile UAVs. This allows the Switchblade to be used in conjunction with anti-artillery radar and improvised explosive device suppression systems, often towed by Humvees. The interception of enemy drones takes place along several layers of defense. If they manage to get through the fighters or the enemy UAVs are too small to be targeted by these aircraft, then they are caught by radar. After detection, the jammer is used for its electronic warfare capabilities, breaking the drone's data transmission channel. But if this were not to happen for some reason, then the Switchblade would come to the rescue, striking a blow on the enemy drone. Many military experts are convinced that the use of such drones will be a game changer on battlefields around the world. They can bypass traditional defenses by suddenly emerging from behind the clouds and quickly strike infantry and vehicles at the insane price of only $6,000 apiece. This is especially true when compared to the $150,000 Hellfire missiles used by the MQ-1 Predator and MQ-9 Reaper. Not to mention, kamikaze drones do not launch missiles. They themselves are the missiles. Toward the end of 2012, American soldiers in Afghanistan received 75 Switchblade drones, and by January 2013, their successful use in battles was shown well. Commanders' statements regarding the high efficiency of this drone prompted U.S. military leadership to move forward in the summer of 2013 with 5 more contracts with AeroVironment worth a total of $15.8 million. And before long, another contract was signed with the Pentagon worth $6.6 million. The drone was even tested from the MV-22 Osprey, and although in this instance it was decided not to equip it with a warhead, this did not affect its successful hit directly on the target. So, from the start of its deliveries to the time of Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan, more than 4,000 Switchblades have been in action somehow. Back in 2016, AeroVironment upgraded the Switchblade Tactical Missile System, designated Block 10C, and at the end of that year announced the Multi-Pack Launcher, or MPL, a system for carrying and remotely launching multiple kamikaze drones. Despite the fact that the Switchblade 600 only appeared in 2018, by March of 2021, AeroVironment had signed a $26.1 million contract with SOCOM for a supply of the latest drones. In parallel with this, the UAV manufacturer announced in 2020 a joint project with Kratos Defense and Security Solutions. Work is being done on a high-speed, long-range, unmanned combat aircraft to serve as a base for delivering massive numbers of Switchblade 300s capable of cooperatively attacking and overwhelming enemy defenses. But the most relevant event in the Switchblade's history is the war between Russia and Ukraine. Seeking to help its allies, the White House announced in March 2022 that 100 tactical unmanned aerial systems would be provided to Ukraine as part of an $800 million military aid package. The total number of Switchblade 300 and 600 versions received by Ukraine exceeded 700 units, and according to the Pentagon, fighters within the armed forces of Ukraine have already been trained to work with these UAVs, having begun to actively use them against the Russian invaders. The history of this kamikaze family did not end in Afghanistan, and they will surely find their way more than once into various theaters of operations soon after they send the Russians and their imperial ambitions back home. But what do you think? Who will remain the future winner in this competition between missiles and kamikaze drones? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and switch on notifications for more content just like today's.